Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are back with another weekly rotation video. This week I'm excited because these are 7 fragrances that I didn't like at first. They really had to grow on me. They were not instant loves by any means. However, many of the fragrances that I'm going to be talking about today became loves, and ones that I can't imagine not having in my collection. Really quickly guys, if this is your first time finding this channel, my name is Gerard, and on this channel we are talking about fragrances. More specifically, today's video is me talking about all 7 fragrances that I wore for all 7 days last week. So if that's content that you want to see more of, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you are updated whenever I upload something new. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into it, starting with Sunday. So I think what I'll really talk about today is essentially what turned me off about the fragrance, not necessarily the specific notes or what I'm getting from it, that type of thing. So this first one, I think, was just a victim of the hype at the time. Scent we are talking about is Missoni Wave. Now, I know a lot of you guys absolutely love this fragrance, and I would still say to this day, it's not a love for me, it's a like, and I appreciate this one. This is going to remind you very much so of Versace Pour Homme and Allure Homme Sport. Not the Eau Extreme version, the original. Kind of a combination of the two of those. You got your citruses, your vanilla. It has that sort of metallic, fuzzy vibe to it. Great summertime scent, ideal for really high heat. I think where it missed the boat for me is the fact that, number one, I absolutely love Missoni Parfum Pour Homme. I think it's the better fragrance of the two, and it's the 2 most popular fragrances from the house. I also own that one and talk about it quite a bit on this channel. I love the presentation, okay? The magnetic cap, it's the same presentation here that you get in the Parfum Pour Homme. Now, the hype. This at one point was, I want to say $25 at rack stores, something around there, maybe even cheaper. And then it shot up. It shot up to like $60. And I really believe that was due to the hype, because there was an entire basically summer where this was talked about on every single channel on YouTube. People were loving this one, and I understand why. But for me, it just came up a bit short initially, because I do love those other 2 fragrances. I enjoy both. I don't own Allure Homme Sport. I do own the Eau Extreme. But Versace Pour Homme is one that I would probably reach for more often than this. And it's creeping into the same price point as the Versace Pour Homme. So if not, maybe a little more expensive than the Versace. I haven't done a price comparison in a while, but nonetheless, I think if you own this one, rest assured you smell great. I do love the smell. The day that I wore it, actually, it really performed well. It seemed to have lasted a little longer than what I've gotten in the past. So for that, I had to, give it another check, but not a bad fragrance. I like it, and just wasn't an instant love for me initially. Missoni Wave. Now, kind of sticking with the theme of hype, this next one is a discontinued fragrance, harder to find. And I had put my email in on a website, I don't remember which site it was specifically, to be able to try to get this one. And when they restocked, they messaged me, and I quickly bought it. Scent we are talking about is Pure Malt from Amen Mugler. And yeah, this one is, again, super hyped. Terry Mugler, the Amen line. Nice sprayer. Atomizer is difficult. Puts out a lot of juice. Now, this one, 1000%. And I know there's dupes of this that a lot of you guys like. I haven't tried any of the dupes. This has gotten better with maceration. 100 times better. Initially, all I could get was like the woods here, and very little sweetness, very little booziness. All the things on paper this scent was telling me I'm gonna love that. It smells it's gonna smell incredible. And then I tried it, and I think I did a first impressions video of it. I think I liked it, but then as I wore it, I was just a little disappointed with how it wore and then how it dried down, and just kind of came across as almost like a cardboard smell to me. So, and I know some people have described it as wet cardboard, but this has gotten so much better. And again, one that probably didn't live up to the hype initially, but with age and sitting on my shelf for a couple of years has gotten a lot better. So much better that the day that I wore, I go, wow, why don't I wear this more? So with the cooler weather coming up, this is going to be perfect. And maybe, just maybe, I might like this one a little bit more than Pure Havana. Who knows? I enjoy Pure Havana as well. So we'll see which one ends up getting worn more this winter. Yeah, again, as I said, this one is tougher to find. It's a little more expensive, but I know you guys like the dupe. So drop it in the comment section down below, the name of the dupe of this one again. Pure Malt from Amen Terry Mugler. This next one really needs no introduction. Some would call this the best budget vanilla fragrance available on the market today. So what you're talking about is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Now, I had owned this scent one other time. As you guys can see, this is a tester bottle. My wife hated it. So I ended up selling it or trading it for something else. And I do that far less so now. I haven't done it, honestly, in years, traded a fragrance. But there were Facebook groups where that was more common. You could do that a little easier. But this one I traded for, I couldn't even tell you what I got in return. However, initially, I didn't like it either. It wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just the incense note here combined with the vanilla was just something very different to my nose. It wasn't what I was expecting from this fragrance. Now, a lot of people consider this to be niche level perfumery. I wouldn't necessarily say that. What I would say is that that combination of that sweet vanilla with really a heavy incense note to my nose is unique for what you would call a designer fragrance. So it's not typical. Usually they're much safer. This one, you have to like incense, I think, to wear this one. It's not just vanilla. Now, as my nose has gotten more mature and I've smelled things far more daring and complicated than this is much easier to wear now. And to the point that really what I pick up the most here is that sweet vanilla. And it's harder for me to wear only because my wife hates vanilla-based fragrances. And this is pretty much vanilla and incense. That's kind of all you're getting here. There's not a lot of citrus, although I believe that bergamot is a listed note. It's not prominent here. You're getting vanilla, incense, a little bit of woods, and that's all you got. But for the cold months, this is a game changer. And I think this is also a good layering scent as well. You could put this on with other things. Definitely unisex. Girls, you can get away with it too. Definitely check this one out because I think for the quality of juice here, for the price that you pay, it's hard to beat. Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Now, I'll never forget the first time I tried this one. This was a scrubber. I actually washed this off of my hand because I was testing it out. I had a decant that someone had sent me, and this was before I even started the channel. And I didn't like it. I did not like it. And this is, again, hyped as one of those inexpensive, niche level fragrances, some would say. Scent we are talking about is Bentley for Men Intense. And as I said, at one point, this was popping up on every single list, usually number one, just, best budget fragrance. And look, this isn't going to be for everyone. Very, very boozy, very, I don't want to say rough around the edges. It just, for lack of a better term, no pun intended, it is a car brand Bentley. It just goes full throttle. It's just, it's not light on anything. And you have to like strong fragrances. You have to be able to be bold enough to pull something like this off. It's not very sweet, doesn't have a lot of sweetness to it. Again, with the maturation of my nose, this is much easier now. But at the time when I had first tried this one, I hadn't really tried anything quite like it. So now this is much easier wear for me. I enjoy it much more than I initially did, to the point that when I found this at, I believe, a Burlington, I snatched it, I grabbed it, and I wanted it for the collection. And I do appreciate this one much more now. This is, again, another cold weather scent. Kind of seeing a theme here, with the exception of the Missoni Wave. Some of these are cooler weather scents, a little more bold, a little more complexity to some of these fragrances. And this one is no exception. Bentley for Men Intense. On Thursday, I went and got my hair cut, and my barber complimented me on this fragrance. She said that might be the best one yet. And it's always nice being complimented, let's face it. It was a really nice thing. She didn't have to say anything, but she likes this one. And me, on the other hand, I didn't like this one at first. Scent we're talking about is Terre d'Hermès Eau Intense Vetiver. And I remember when I tried this one. It's funny. I have a good memory of the ones I don't like initially. I was in a Sephora. It was, one of the tester bottles there. And I tried it. Oh man, in the air, guys. Beautiful. Just really stunning fragrance. I thought that this smelled like dirt. It smelled so authentic, just earthy. When you hear that expression, earthy, it can apply to different things. It can be a vegetal earthiness, like if you're pulling a plant from the ground and smelling the roots. That's kind of what I got from this. Like pulling, I do a lot of my own yard work. I pull weeds. If stuff is overgrown, I'll be outside pulling weeds. And that kind of earthy, dirty, just soil smell is what I was getting from this. Just broken stems, that type of thing. And that's the best way to describe this one. It is intense, 1000%. But that intensity is only initial. And I was basing my reaction, it was a knee-jerk reaction. I was that first spray and I said, nah, that's not for me. No way would I buy something like that. But then I saw this for a really great price. I said, I want to revisit it. At that point I had the channel. I wanted to revisit it and see if I liked it. And I was blown away, just absolutely blown away. Love this stuff. Super classy, just works in every situation. Signature worthy, in my opinion. If you are not accustomed to smelling different fragrances, if you are just mass pleasing, blue fragrances, green, sweet, whatever they're pushing down your throat at Macy's, this is going to be a tough one at first. But give it time, try it, wear it a couple times, and you will grow to appreciate it, just like I did. Terre d'Hermes, Eau Intense Vetiver. I think this next one is going to actually shock a lot of people. And I don't know if you can hear it. It's kind of a classic sound from this little doodad here in all the bottles. Same way of talking about is Le Malt Les Parfums. Now, let me preface this by saying this is in my top 10. Definitely, maybe even top 5 designers. Absolutely love this fragrance. It is truly a masterpiece, in my opinion. There's just something about it. It elevates every aspect of the Le Malt line to the nth degree. It really does. And this is, if there was one Le Malt that I own, that I could own, it would be this one. And it's my most recommended from the line. With that being said, first time I tried it, I was disappointed. I made a major mistake. I tried it on strip, and I didn't put it on skin, and I didn't see how it changed on my skin. I was basing it off the strip. And now, if you've ever smelled this off of the strip, it is so one-dimensional. It is just flat and just not the ideal way of smelling this fragrance. On skin, this comes alive. So I always recommend, if you guys are at the mall and you're trying different fragrances that you hear me talk about or someone else talk about, and they're more widely available, you walk into the mall, always don't be shy. Just tell them, hey, I want to try this on skin, and walk around the store a little bit, see how it changes. They understand. They should understand. If they're professionals and they know anything about perfume and fragrance, that should not be an issue. So yeah, you can try it off of the strip, but if it's something that you've considered trying for a while, get it on skin and walk around and see what it does. I wish I did that with this initially. I was kind of finding myself saying, oh, it's just all hype, again, way before I had a channel. And I was just like, I don't see the fuss. And boy, do I now. One of my favorite fragrances. JPG, Le Malt Les Parfums. Finally, scent that I wore on Saturday. I met up with some friends, and this is another one that might be, if you're a fan of this channel, maybe shocking. Because this, again, is in my top designer list of all time. Same way you're talking about is Prada Luna Rosa Black. And I actually wore this fragrance when my second daughter was born. So that tells you what this scent means to me. First time I tried it, no surprise, just came up short for me. It was smelling it off the skin. I said, what is the big deal about this? It smells like powder to me. And, I think I just, at the time, I was smelling a lot of fragrances, and I couldn't appreciate how beautiful this fragrance is in its simplicity. This is not an overly complex fragrance. This is not dynamic. This is very well done. It's done with calculated, sort of idea of what the perfumer wanted here. And it's done with a light touch, which is now what I appreciate about this fragrance. I think this is a sensual fragrance. This is not something that I would necessarily wear to the office. You absolutely could. It's not overwhelming in any way or anything like that. It's just, this is a special fragrance for me. And I don't know how easily available this is anymore. Why they discontinued this, I don't know. Maybe more people had my reaction initially and never revisited it. But this is one that I wish they never stopped making, because it is absolutely incredible. And yeah, powdery, tonka, slightly sweet musks. Ah, man, this is just a beautiful fragrance. I love it. Bomb, absolute bomb. This thing lasts forever on clothes. I smell it days later on my clothes. And also kind of sneaky performance. It's one that is a little more subtle. Maybe you don't smell it on yourself, or I wouldn't imagine getting a ton of compliments from this. I've gotten complimented on this before, but it is subtle. It is inconspicuous, and that's a good thing. That's what I appreciate about it. Prada Luna Rosa Black. That's it, guys. All 7 fragrances that I wore last week. Look, in retrospect, all these 7 fragrances are absolutely incredible. I love every single one of them. My least favorite on the list, if I had to choose one, the Missoni Wave. But even that scent I can appreciate now and understand that it is a really nice fragrance. This is pretty typical, right? We try fragrances. We either love it or hate it initially. Maybe we're indifferent to it. Maybe it's just okay. So I always suggest revisiting fragrances, going back to them, testing them again, and seeing if you still feel the same way. Because a lot of times it depends on the day, our mood, the situation, as to how we react to fragrance, which is what makes this such a fun hobby. As always, I would love for you guys to drop in the comment section down below what your weekly rotation was. But that's it, guys. If you like what you saw today, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, hit that bell notification so you are updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.